Welcome to the deep dive. We take stacks of sources, pull out the key nuggets, and, well, give you the shortcut to being truly informed. Today we're looking into a really unsettling case from Orlando. It's a story that starts with celebration, but ends, tragically, with a shocking betrayal. We're talking about Sasha Samsudean.
It's a deeply affecting case, you're right. Not just because of the awful outcome, but because of the careful police work involved in uncovering what really happened. Sasha Samsudean, she was only 27, a social media manager for a real estate agency there. People described her as smart, full of energy, really sociable.
Yeah, I read some colleagues felt people underestimated her, maybe saw just the pretty face, but she was driven, organized, a real force.
Exactly. So today our mission is to sift through the sources, police reports, witness statements, forensics, court documents, the whole lot. We want to understand not just what happened, which is devastating enough, but how the truth was painstakingly pieced together. We'll connect those critical nuggets for you, the full picture of this deep dive.
Absolutely. And to set the scene for you, Sasha had just moved. A new chapter, you know? A nice apartment at Uptown Place in Orlando. She must have been excited. That's the backdrop for her last night. So her last evening out started with a lot of energy. Typical Sasha, apparently. It was the end of the Orlando soccer season. She was out celebrating the win, wearing team colors. Afterwards, she and some friends went to a nightclub, The Attic. Drinks, dancing, the usual. Around 12:30 a.m., she decided to leave, told her friend Anthony. Anthony later said, you know, it wasn't weird for them to split up sometimes and meet up later. They didn't think much of it.
Right. And her journey home, that becomes really crucial. It's about a half-hour walk from the club. Investigators actually pieced this together using CCTV from all over. Pretty amazing. The footage showed she was, well, visibly intoxicated. And crucially, she didn't have her phone or ID on her.
Oh, phone or ID. That's vulnerable.
Very. And she was seen with two women who later talked to the police. They were worried about her, actually shared an Uber with her, dropped her right at Uptown Place. Sasha apparently jumped out at a traffic light, pointed at her building. The women watched her struggle to get in because, you know, no key fob, that electronic key.
Right, the fob.
And that's the first time Stephen Duxbury, the security guard, approaches her. He told the women he couldn't let her in without ID. But then another resident came along, opened the door, and Sasha got inside.
Okay, so she's inside, safe, you'd think. But this is where things get really dark, isn't it? The building's own CCTV. It shows Sasha entering at 1:46 a.m. And then, just moments later, this guy, Stephen Duxbury, the guard, follows her inside. He comes up to her, supposedly asking if she's okay.
Right. And Duxbury's later story, the one he told police initially, he claimed he walked her out to her car around 2:25 a.m. because she was having trouble with her apartment door code. But then, according to him, she just suddenly remembered it and went back inside alone.
Seems helpful on the surface, a guard doing his job.
Exactly. But it turns out that was just a fabrication, a story designed to mislead. Knowing what we know now, it's chilling.
So, fast forward to the next morning. Anthony, her friend, had plans with her, breakfast. But Sasha doesn't show, doesn't answer texts, which for her apparently was really unusual. She was always on social media, always connected.
Yeah, that immediately set off alarm bells for Anthony. Hours go by, his worry grows. He calls two other friends. They decide, okay, let's go check on her. They drive over to Uptown Place.
And they see her car right away in the parking lot. There was a baby shower gift she was supposed to bring that day, just sitting there on the back seat. Untouched.
Exactly. Another bad sign. They go up to apartment 345. They knock. They bang on the door. Yeah. Nothing. Just silence.
That must have been terrifying for them.
Utterly terrifying. That silence, where Sasha's energy should have been, it told them something was very wrong. So finally, around 8 p.m. that night, this is almost 18 hours after she was last seen getting into the building, the police arrive. They do a welfare check. Building security's there too. They have to force entry into her apartment on the 3rd floor.
And the apartment was locked, no forced entry from the outside.
Correct. Locked from the inside. No obvious signs of a break-in, which was confusing at first.
Yeah.
Inside, the kitchen, the living room, they looked okay. Undisturbed, quiet. But then they moved towards the bedroom. And the quiet just broke. They saw some hair under the duvet. Yeah. And then a hand hanging off the bed. They'd found Sasha.
Oh, God. Just awful. What did the medical examiner find? What had happened to her?
It was brutal. The ME confirmed she'd been sexually assaulted and strangled. The injuries were severe. A fractured neck internally, ligature marks, signs of a violent beating. He had defensive wounds on her arms. Clearly, she fought back. Abrasions like she'd been forcefully held down.
Horrific.
Her necklace was ripped off, caught in her hair. Her shirt, her bra torn open. Underwear forcibly removed, causing more abrasions. And adding to the mystery, her purse, her phone, and that key fob, all missing.
So, besides the obvious horror, what clues did the scene itself offer? The silent clues.
The scene was talking, definitely. Investigators noted this really strong smell. Cleaning products, like bleach. You could see discolored patches on the sheets where bleach had probably been poured, and her own cleaning supply cupboard left wide open, which seemed odd.
Yeah, out of place in what was otherwise a tidy apartment.
Exactly. And another small but strange detail. The toilet seat was left up. Maybe insignificant on its own, but odd for a woman living alone. They also found a condom wrapper near the bed. And a shoe print, a clear one. Crucially, they swabbed under that raised toilet seat, got 2 fingerprints. And they collected epithelial DNA, skin cells from her chest and elsewhere. Every bit mattered.
So, initially, police must have looked everywhere for suspects. Friends, exes.
They did. Cast a wide net. Interviewed everyone, friends, family, colleagues. Nobody could think of anyone who'd want to harm Sasha. No obvious enemies, no disgruntled exes causing trouble. They looked hard at her ex-boyfriends, Ben and Taylor, but they had solid alibis. And importantly, DNA evidence cleared them completely.
So that left,
Yeah.
the building itself.
Exactly. The lack of outside leads forced them to look inward. Back to the building, back to those last known moments, back to the CCTV.
And that CCTV footage, the stuff recorded off-site,
Right.
that became the key, didn't it?
Absolutely pivotal. They went back through the footage from Uptown Place, meticulously, and there it was 6:36 a.m. A figure emerges from the second floor, carrying 2 trash bags. It's Stephen Duxbury,
Yeah,
the security
the
guard.
same guard. And he's carrying trash bags.
Yes. His shift officially ended at 6 a.m. And investigators quickly confirmed, taking out trash. Definitely not part of his job. This wasn't just weird. It screamed, getting rid of evidence. And those trash bags looked like the ones from Sasha's apartment. That was the aha moment. The focus shifted instantly. He wasn't just a helpful guard anymore. He was the prime suspect.
Wow. Okay, so you have this incredibly suspicious footage.
Yeah.
How do you build a case from that?
Well, first step, get a search warrant for Duxbury's home. And they asked him to come in, answer some questions, take a polygraph. During the polygraph, they asked him straight, were you ever inside Sasha's apartment? He said no. The machine indicated deception. Big time.
Okay, but polygraphs aren't admissible in court.
Right. They're not direct evidence of guilt. But they're a powerful investigative tool, because then the interviewer asked about how Sasha died. Was she poisoned? Stabbed? Choked? When the word choked was mentioned, Duxbury's heart rate spiked. Strong deception indicated again. And the key thing here, the fact she was strangled hadn't been released publicly. Only the killer would know that detail.
So he reacted to information only the killer should have known.
Precisely. It strongly suggested he had guilty knowledge. It didn't prove anything legally yet, but it told investigators they were absolutely on the right track. Gave them huge impetus to dig deeper.
So the polygraph points the way. But you need hard evidence. What did the forensics turn up?
This is where the case became undeniable. The forensic evidence was overwhelming. Remember that shoe print in Sasha's apartment? They found shoes in Duxbury's home, a perfect match. Those fingerprints from under the toilet seat. 3 days later, the lab confirms they belong to Stephen Duxbury, his right thumbprint.
Under the toilet seat he left up.
Exactly. And maybe the most damning piece, his DNA. Epithelial cells, skin cells, found on Sasha's chest, indicating direct, forceful contact, a struggle, an assault.
It just keeps getting worse, and his phone records. Tell us about that, because that suggests planning.
It really does. His phone showed a Google search around 5 a.m. that morning, just before Sasha sent her last text message, actually. The search was, how to override a quickset keypad lock.
The exact type of lock on Sasha's door.
The very same. And remember, this is happening likely while he's still in the apartment or just after, contemplating his next move. Plus, when they arrested him, he had a bite mark on his forearm, scratches on his body, clear signs of a struggle corroborating the defensive wounds on Sasha.
So, putting it all together, what did the police believe happened?
The picture they constructed was chilling. Duxbury saw Sasha struggling to get in, intoxicated, vulnerable. He saw it as a twisted opportunity. They believe he used his knowledge, maybe from that Google search, maybe prior knowledge, to get into her apartment. He then assaulted her, killed her, and his immediate actions afterwards, the cleaning products, the bleach, the open cupboard, showed a desperate attempt to cover his tracks, destroy DNA. Then, taking out those trash bags, a calculated move to dispose of anything incriminating. It wasn't just impulse, there was calculation involved, even if panicked.
The trial started in November 2017. He's facing first-degree murder, sexual battery, burglary. How did the defense even try to counter all this?
They definitely put up a fight. His lawyers tried hard to get evidence thrown out. They argued the polygraph statements were coerced. They questioned how the shoes were collected. They also pointed out there was no CCTV of him actually entering her apartment, only exiting later with the trash, trying to create that sliver of reasonable doubt.
But the prosecution had a strong response to that, didn't they? Focusing on the scene itself.
They did. William J., the prosecutor, his argument was powerful. He basically said, look, even if parts are circumstantial, her body doesn't tell lies, the scene doesn't tell lies. The forensic evidence was just too strong. His DNA inside her apartment, the Google search matching her lock, him removing those trash bags, it placed him there, involved in her death. They also tackled the defense's attempt to suggest maybe it was consensual. The medical examiner testified those abrasions on her thigh were consistent with a security belt, like Duxbury would wear. Not consensual activity. It was science against speculation.
So a 7-day trial, and the jury...
They came back fast. Just 4 hours of deliberation. Which tells you how compelling the evidence was. Guilty on all charges. First-degree murder, sexual battery, burglary.
And the sentence?
Life in prison. No possibility of parole for the murder. Plus more consecutive time for the other charges. Justice, in that sense, was served. It was incredibly emotional at the sentencing. Sasha's parents, Ken and Tara, they actually expressed sympathy for Duxbury's mother, acknowledging her loss too, which is just incredible strength.
Wow.
But Tara, Sasha's mom, she also voiced her anger, especially at the defense for trying to smear Sasha's character during the trial. She said something heartbreaking like, I won't have birthdays, her father will never get to walk her down the aisle, just the raw pain of it.
Unimaginable. But the story didn't quite end with the criminal trial. The family kept fighting.
That's right. They filed a huge civil lawsuit, 102 pages, against the apartment complex, against the security company that hired Duxbury, and against Spectrum Brands, the maker of that quick-set lock. They alleged the complex and the security company had ignored complaints about Duxbury before. Other residents feeling harassed or uncomfortable.
Ignored complaints, that's damning.
And the lock itself. This was fascinating. They argued it was potentially defective. They found an article showing how that specific model could apparently be bypassed easily, maybe with just a screwdriver, manipulating something inside. Beaten in a matter of seconds, the suit claimed, basically turning her secure door into a weak point.
But proving that lock was faulty. That sounds tough, especially if the lock itself wasn't kept as evidence.
Exactly the challenge. The lock manufacturer argued, hey, you can't prove the lock failed because nobody kept it. Apparently, the police didn't collect it, and the new tenant later just threw it out. It really shows how vital securing every single potential piece of evidence is, doesn't it? Even something like a door lock.
Yeah, a tough lesson. But amidst all this, Sasha's parents, they found a way to channel their grief, didn't they?
They really did. Ken and Sasha Samsudean have done something remarkable. They work with the Orange County Sheriff's Office now, helping other families going through similar nightmares, coping with that kind of grief. Tara used to be a trauma nurse, and now she advocates for victims' rights. She said something beautiful. We help ourselves by telling our stories, but we also help them by listening to their stories.
That's incredibly powerful, turning their pain into purpose.
It's an amazing tribute to Sasha's spirit, a way to keep her memory alive, her energy alive, by helping others.
What a journey through this case, just gut-wrenching. From a fun night out to this horrifying discovery, and then the slow, careful work that finally brought the truth to light.
Yeah, this deep dive really underscores how crucial every single detail is. That CCTV footage, tiny DNA traces, even bleach stains or a toilet seat left up, they all tell a story. It shows how forensics can speak even when someone tries desperately to silence the evidence. Crime scenes don't stay quiet. It does make you think, doesn't it? For you, the listener, how do we balance trusting the systems meant to keep us safe, like security guards, with needing to be vigilant, especially when vulnerability can be exploited by the very people in positions of trust?
That's a heavy thought to end on. And it reminds us that the fight for accountability, whether in court or by helping future victims, often goes on long after the trial ends. Sasha's story, as tragic as it is, stands as this powerful testament to the strength of those left behind, their determination to honor her memory and make sure her life, lost way too soon, continues to have meaning.